Simon Squibb shared his biggest regret, losing 10 years of his health because he believed success required sacrifice. He's now fighting to get it back. In this video, I'm giving him a complete 90-day game plan, the exact blueprint to successfully reclaim his lost health and fitness without sacrificing his business. This plan will be built on the lazy shredded efficiency score, the 3 criteria that matter the most to high-level professionals. This is not a 5-minute tip video. This is the full 90-day blueprint, the exact strategy I use with my clients. I'm Dominic Spear, the systems over willpower guy, leading a health concierge for traveling executives. Let's build the blueprint. When we have a look at Simon Squibb's physique, he has the classic dad bod, belly, not much muscle, and probably around 25 to 30% body fat. I'm assuming his goal physique is lean, functional, with a good amount of muscle mass. This is important because as you age, building and maintaining muscle becomes increasingly harder, but even more crucial. Your muscles aren't just for looking good or lifting weights. They are a pharmacy for your brain. When you use your muscles, they release chemicals that act as fertilizer, medicine, and fire extinguishers, all of which protect your brain from illness, memory loss, and aging. Given Simon's starting point, a realistic target is to lose about 8 to 9% body fat while putting on lean muscle. The goal is to build a sustainable plan, optimized for looks, productivity, but above all, long-term health. So what is the solution? The plan must meet these 3 non-negotiable criteria, something I call the lazy shredded efficiency score. Minimal time investment, science-backed protocols, and chaos-proof systemization. To guarantee the plan meets those criteria, we first need to identify the biggest bottleneck. The solution starts with the audit. We find the one thing that, if was solved, would unlock all other progress. Simon's day is driven by the demands of social media grind, content creation, mentorship calls, and networking. A relentless cycle that systematically sabotaged his physique for a decade. The 5 main obstacles he's likely dealing with as a result of his decade-long lifestyle are inconsistent calorie intake, an insufficient training routine, sleep disruption, and chronically repressed recovery. All of these, if not addressed, will sabotage his results. However, the main bottleneck, based on his demands and lifestyle, is probably chronically repressed recovery, or in other words, hormonal chaos. Losing weight isn't just about the naive calories in versus calories out. Your hormonal health matters even more because hormones are the signal that keep your body in a healthy state. Chronic stress and so elevated cortisol inhibit fat loss and muscle protein synthesis. So next, let's first address the main constraint with something I like calling the first levers, the foundation that makes the rest of the plan so much easier. Here is the high-level overview of what I would implement with him. First and foremost, strictly managing recovery data, so HRV and sleep quality, as a performance metric. HRV, or heart rate variability, is the #1 indicator for your cognitive and physical readiness to make clear-headed decisions. Secondly, I would implement some sort of box breathing or meditation, stretching to relieve tension, and walking. Walking especially in green spaces to maximize infrared light exposure, which acts as a powerful stress intervention. And then of course, optimizing sleep for stress management tied into heart rate variability, for overall recovery, and optimal hormone health. For him, I would optimize sleep with, for example, the 3-2-1 rule, which states 3 hours before bed, no eating, 2 hours before bed, no liquids, and 1 hour before bed, no screens. Additionally, having a cool room temperature, completely blacked out room, and avoiding any noise. When traveling, recovery becomes increasingly more difficult, but no less important. What we need for Simon is a chaos-proof systemization protocol. 2 of the main ones include the morning sun habit and the 20-90 minute napping jet lag protocol. In short, the morning sun habit states, the first thing I do when waking up in my new time zone is getting some direct sunlight. This signals to your body to reset your internal clock. The 20-90 minute napping jet lag protocol is a simple power napping strategy should you feel extremely tired when landing at your new destination in the new time zone. Either nap for 20 to 30 minutes or a full sleep cycle of 90 minutes. Avoid napping past 3 p.m. local time to not interfere with your deep sleep later. Now that we've solved for the main constraints, let's look at the game plan to solve for the remaining challenges, focusing on 3 pillars. First, training. Resistance training when losing weight is crucial to maintain muscle mass. If he is training, he's likely following a training routine made for people with endless time and that doesn't account for travel unpredictability. In order for the training plan to be both sustainable and get him the desired results, the custom routine must follow the lazy shredded efficiency score. First, minimal time investment. This means under 3 hours a week. The reason for that is because 3 hours a week is more than enough to hit the minimal effective volume. This is the sweet spot where you maximize results with the time invested. What most people miss is that the dose-response relationship between more time or more sets in the gym and results isn't linear. By applying this rule, you get majority of the gains while spending half the time than most people in the gym. The workout split I would suggest is either the 3-day 45-minute split, or what I like doing as of recent is the 5-day 20-minute split. I love working out, I love the feeling I have afterwards, but I don't like spending an hour, 2 hours in the gym. To make this happen with efficiency, we will apply the time-saving principles. So using antagonistic supersets where you combine 2 exercises targeting opposing muscle groups and so cutting your rest time in half. Mainly using compound lifts with minimal setup time, so prioritizing machines and dumbbells over barbells. Secondly, applying science-backed intensity. This means first and foremost, training with the right intensity, meaning taking your muscles to or close to failure. This will create the necessary stimulus to signal to your body to add new muscle fibers. What this looks like in practice is when the reps towards the end of the set start involuntarily slowing down. That's when you know you're in the territory for muscular failure, and then you want to just maximize those reps. Then applying stretch-mediated hypertrophy. This is, according to the latest research, the most optimal way to create even more stimulus for growth. And then training each muscle group at least twice a week. With both splits I outlined, that is 100% possible. Thirdly, chaos-proof systemization. What Simon needs is travel-proof workouts. If you travel, you know, you land at the hotel gym, you super excited to work out, you walk into the gym and you see a couple of dumbbells and 2 broken treadmills. And you're like, how the fuck am I gonna get a workout in? Then you go on YouTube, you search a couple of routines. By the time you found something, half the time is gone. You do a half-assed workout and you leave. Unfulfilled and muscles not growing. So to avoid that, you want to have a structured routine set up ahead of time that mainly prioritizes dumbbell movements. And then of course, as we know, more often than not, light weights are very, very prevalent in hotel gyms. What do you do in these situations if you can already lift a lot heavier? What you want to do is control the negative portion of the movement a lot more. So instead of 1 second down, go 3, 5, or 7 seconds on the way down. And that way you are creating the same overall tension. Now, if you want the full breakdown of this routine, make sure to check out the How I Got Zac Efron's Physique in Under 2 Hours a Week video next, where I outline the entire blueprint. I'll put the link into the description below. Feel free to add steps or interval walking where possible, but mainly focus on your nutrition and your sleep. They will do the heavy lifting. Speaking of nutrition, we need to ensure the plan is enjoyable, sustainable, travel-proof, science-backed to optimize physical results, mental performance, and optimize for long-term health. Here are the 3 crucial pillars to match the lazy shredded efficiency score. First, metabolic and hormonal efficiency. Prioritize protein for muscle growth and maintenance, satiety, and the thermic effect of food. In other words, burning more calories digesting. If you didn't know this, to digest 100 calories of protein, 20 to 30 calories get used just to digest protein, which is why it's just a superpower. Fats and carbs must be customized to Simon specifically to ensure the right balance. The biggest mistake most people make when going on a cut is to have the fats extremely low. This is a strategic mistake, as fats are crucial for hormone health, nutrient absorption, and providing satiety. I would recommend to prioritize protein first, then fats, and finally adding carbs to fill the rest of the calorie budget. A good macro split is 30 to 40% protein, 25 to 30% fats, and 30 to 40% carbs. Secondly, the nutrition plan needs to be healthy but low friction. Nutrient-dense, delicious food without complex meal prepping, making adherence easy. The system must implement a chaos-proof nutrition plan that requires zero decision fatigue. Food is a high return but low leverage task Simon should not be spending any mental load on. A few example solutions include pre-prepared, pre-scheduled, simple, high-protein, low-friction meals. For Simon specifically, I would even recommend a private chef, or he could opt for a meal prep service. Then having strategic takeout options for extremely busy days, meaning a short list of pre-selected go-to he can access with the click of one button. And finally, eating the same things on a loop. If you get bored, you can switch things up every other week. Main thing is that it's frictionless, meets his macros, and is optimized for physical results as well as cognitive performance. As business dinners and eating out are part of his life, he needs chaos-proof systemization. In other words, mental models that manage unpredictable scenarios. First, the protein first rule. If I'm at a restaurant, I will scan the menu for the best protein source first, then add complex carb and vegetables. The second rule is the strategic allocation rule, or the calorie bank method. If I know that I have a business dinner or an event coming up, I will strategically eat less throughout the day or even a few days in advance to save more calories for that specific evening. I made an entire video to solve the business dinner scenario, allowing you to enjoy your time, be present and focused, and skip the guilt. Feel free to check it out next. I'll put the link into the description below. The final principle is the strategic phase approach and adaptation. In other words, the long game. If Simon was part of Lazy Shredded, which you're welcome to join Lazy Shredded, Simon, by the way, I would take him through 3 crucial phases. And that would be the priming phase, the ascension phase, and the aesthetic phase. The reason this is so important because this is a strategic approach, as obstacles and plateaus are inevitable. And what I'm actually going to do is share my screen with you so you have an idea of what I mean. All right, so this is the Lazy Shredded blueprint, and let's say Simon was a client. First, we take him through the priming phase. And this is where we would get crystal clear on the data, his starting points, collect everything. From there, we reverse engineer success. So we put that data into calculations and come up with a step-by-step game plan. But as you can see, the fast levers here, etc. But the main thing I want to share is our team then has decision trees. So let's say Simon was a client, and after we've optimized his metabolism through macronutrient manipulation, so the right balance of the macros, then of course optimizing sleep and stress, all coinciding in optimal hormone health, then combining that with a good energy output and then some good resistance training, his metabolism would be optimized. And then from there, we would probably take him on a fat loss phase. But the cool thing is our team has decision trees where, let's say he hit a weight plateau. We know exactly what to do. Back to the metabolic optimization phase. Or let's say he hit a weight freeze. Cool, we do a structured refeed. Point is, you need to have these decision trees, if this, then that scenarios that help you overcome these plateaus. And then the aesthetic phase, where for him, we would probably then take him on a shredding phase after a structured refeed. I'm just going off of feeling or what I think would happen. And of course, refine aesthetic weak points, and then long-term sustainability would be in place. But not to go into too many details, but yeah, just to share with you, this is what's possible. Then we help or we work with clients from the biggest companies in the world. For example, Jai actually worked for CBRE. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and he's the managing director there. And this was his 4-month transformation. Truly incredible what you can achieve with the right system in minimal time. And you heard me referencing the team, and this is what I mean by team. So Simon, if you join, you'll have a head nutritionist taking care of all nutrition. She could even be in touch with your chef and just make sure the macros are aligned. Then of course, having a health and fitness specialist, make sure the training is on point, whether you're at home, traveling, everything done for you and taken care of for you. And client concierge, someone on the back end, making sure all communication is flawless between you, team, and private chef. Should you have any injuries, we have head of physical therapy and recovery. As also, point is, you'll be taken care of and you're going through a systematic blueprint that ensures your results. If you respect the systematic approach and you understand that implementation is everything, click the link below in the description to see if you qualify to work with us. That is Simon's game plan. Here are the key action steps and takeaways to apply and remember for yourself. Step 1, the audit. Get clear on where you are, your metrics, your current weight, your current body fat percentage. Then very importantly, get clear on the vision. Where do you want to go? What is the goal you have in mind for yourself? From there, identify the main constraints. The one thing that if was solved would make everything else easier. Then apply crystal clear goal setting with key milestones. Apply inverted thinking. Think to yourself or ask yourself, what would guarantee failure? And then do the opposite. Step 2 is the first levers. Now you've identified the main constraint, now you need to solve it. And what I'll say more often than not, it's sleep, stress, and nutrition that is really preventing you from losing weight and overall having an optimized metabolism. And then step 3 is execution of the game plan. The most important thing is consistency. So you need to have a plan that you can sustainably stick to, meaning it's travel proof, it's sustainable, it's enjoyable, it's optimized for physical results, but also very importantly, cognitive performance and longevity. And then step 4, the strategic phase approach and adaptation. Obstacles are inevitable, plateaus are inevitable. You need to have decision trees to overcome these and ensure that you continuously progress. What I just shared was exactly what I would do if Simon was a client. And given this is exactly what we specialize in, I know for certain that you, Simon, would be successful. It's not about willpower, it's about having chaos-proof systems. You have that mindset for your career. Now it's time to apply that thinking to your health. If you found this valuable, you will definitely like this next video as well. Make sure to watch the How I Got Zac Efron's Physique in under 2 hours a week for the 100 minutes a week travel-proof training blueprint you can apply immediately to see results. Optimal health isn't a destination, it's a journey. I will see you in the next one.